Hello and welcome to Introduction to Nmap tutorial. In this tutorial here, we're gonna look into application and service and OS detection. In application and service, we will learn how we can do, learn about the version running in the host machine. And when it comes to OS detection, we will learn the techniques used in Nmap uh, to find out what type of operating system that is running. Now, now, service, application version, and operating system detection are very important because they provide additional information about the target system that can be used to identify vulnerabilities and potential attack vectors. Now, when you use Nmap to scan hosts, it will tell you using like port scan dash P, will tell you that which ports are open. It could be port 25, port 80, 53, or any another port. This is all based on what? On a database of 2,200 common services that would tell us that, okay, this port 25 belong to SMTP. This port 80 belong to HTTP. This port 53 belong to DNS. Now, this is still for us, this is basic information that is not enough to fully evaluate the vulnerabilities of the target system. So it becomes important to determine what specific email and DNS server being used, their versions, and even the operating system. Now, once you have identified the open TCP or UDP ports, you will need to do version and operating system detection to better understand what is currently in operation. Now, Nmap service probes database includes various probes for querying different services and matching expressions that 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 can recognize and analyze responses. Nmap use this information to determine details such as service protocol, like is it FTP or SSH or Telnet or what? Application name. Okay. Is this host using Apache, HTTPD, or Solaris? Um, okay. What version number or what is the host name? What type of device? Is it a printer or router? And which operating system family is this? Is it Windows or Linux or what? Now, let's look at operating system detection now. Nmap can detect OS detection through something called TCP/IP fingerprinting. Now, what is TCP/IP stack fingerprinting? It's a technique used to determine the operating system of a remote host by analyzing its network traffic. It works by sending a series of packets to the target host and examining the responses characteristics coming from the target host. You know, such as the order, the presence of specific TCP or UDP options, and the values of IP and TCP fields. By comparing these characteristics to a database of known fingerprints, the technique can identify the specific operating system or even the version of the operating system being used by the target system. Now, in addition to this, Nmap performs numerous tests, like when it send all these packets, network packets, like it uses TCP/IP ISN sampling, TCP options, support and ordering, IP ID sampling, and even the initial window size checks. Now, after doing all these tests, Nmap will compare the result of its database of more than 2,600 known OS fingerprint. If a match is found, Nmap will report its identified OS. Now, the question is it reliable? Well, it can be reliable in a certain situation, but it also has limitations. You know, uh, actually the accuracy can also be affected by, the configuration of the target system. And if there is any type of security mechanisms, you know, such as like, IDS, IPS, uh, firewalls, netting. However, Nmap OS detection is more accurate when it performed against a single host on a local network rather than across multiple networks or internet. Now, let's go into the practical part. Now, here we have the UTM running under Macintosh M architecture. Here we have the first machine is the Metasploitable 2. Let's double check the IP address. My mistake. I made a mistake here. Okay. ifconfig. Now it's using 192.168.0.138. Okay. The Windows machine, let's double check it again. IP config. Okay, it's using 146. Now it's time to run the Kali Linux. Now here we have two windows. We got two, one here for Metasploitable, and the other one is for Windows 11. Now, the first thing we need to do here, so I'm gonna do nmap, nmap. I'm gonna use dash SV, which stands for version detection. So I'm gonna enter 192.168.0.138, press enter. Then I'm gonna go to the Windows machine, nmap dash SV, okay, 192.168.0.146. If you notice here, I could run two machines at the same time, but I'll do each one of them individually. Okay, so here right now, I just learned that the scan report took about 71 seconds. Uh, there's like 997 closed TCP ports. Now here in the Windows 11, I have RPC is running. It's open. That's the name of the service. 135 TCP. Okay. And NetBIOS also. 139 TCP. And here 445 TCP open Microsoft. Now, this tells me this is Windows. Now, there's also another option I could do for Nmap dash SV, and I could say here the Windows is much faster responding. I would say, for example, like I'm going to use version intensity. Now, dash version, okay, intensity. Now, here you can put down the value. Now, during this version scan, Nmap uses a series of probes, assign a score between 1 and 9, where the default setting is 7. Okay? Now, to identify the services. Now, lower rate probes are useful for many common services, while higher rated ones are usually not. The intensity level determines which probes to use, with higher numbers increasing the probability of identifying the service accurately. However, this high density scan will take longer to finish. Let's say, for example, let's put down 8, and then we will put down the same IP we used it before. Press enter. I'm gonna, okay, see here right now, it is pointable. I could see we have many ports here. Here we have the, the FTP, open SSH. It tells that these are open, the TCP, and each port associated with it. Here we could see the ISC bind 9.4.2. That's the DNS for Linux. Here I could see the Apache HTTPD 2.2.8. Okay, Ubuntu. Okay, and other information. Now you could see that on the right hand side here. Here there's not much difference actually. Okay. But the idea here to introduce you to a different options. Let's see, for example, I'm gonna remove 8, and then I'm gonna keep dash dash version, but I'm gonna put down light. Now light is is basically like intensity 2, limited to most likely probes. But see, here's the result. We don't see anything different, anything different than what we have done before here. Now, if we go and say here, all, we remove the light, and I type all, okay, press enter. This is going to take some time for it, so I'm gonna pause the video. Okay, save time. Okay, now here we got the result. There's not much difference here. So it's just to give you an idea about uh you know different option you could use with version detection dash S capital letter V for it. Now let's go for the OS detection. So I'm gonna do nmap dash O for operating system. Okay, and then I'm gonna keep the IP address here, run. Okay, so I have to log in as a root. Okay, now we'll do it again in map dash o 192.168.0.146. Now here we'll do the same thing. Sudo dash I, okay, then root and map dash o 192.168.0.138. Okay, it's gonna take some time here, so actually it went much faster than expected. Now here you could see the result of the operating system. Now it's telling me, uh, you know, in addition to the open ports here, it's telling me that the type is Windows 10. Okay, uh, so well, this is to the best ability of Nmap to tell me this is Windows 10, but in actuality, this is Windows 11. Now, the exploitable, it's using Linux 2.6.9. That's what it's running right here. You can see that. Okay. In addition to the list of open ports here. Okay. Now, let's do something else. Uh, we could use OS scan dash guess or fuzzy. Okay. Uh, we want to see if it can provide us with better detection result, or if Nmap is unable to detect a perfect OS match. So let's try that. Okay. Then I'm gonna move to here. Good. dash dash, okay, OS scan dash guess. Okay, let's clear this one out. Okay, so it still provide me with the same information. Okay, let's try something else here. And I would like to clear the screen. Okay, okay. Here we're gonna use the switch fuzzy. Okay, let it run. Now here I'm gonna try in math dash dash fuzzy. Okay, 192. Oops, I forgot something. Dash O. And then 192.168.138 for the metasploitable 2. Let it run. Okay, uh, here basically I got this information. It's the same thing, nothing special about it. Okay, uh, let's try the guess again here. Okay, same information, nothing special here. Now let's try something else. Now we learn about the how how to use the version thing and the operating system. Now let's do something else. Let's combine those two together. Let's say in map dash O dash S S V and for the Windows. Let's see the result. 5:46 p.m. Okay, so what is the difference here? Here right now, if you see, we use only the operating system. But here right now, we use the version detection and operating system. So here I got the open ports, the service, and the version number of it. And the same thing here, it gives me also the same operating system. Let's see the metasploitable. It should give us more interesting information here. Now, this might take some time, so I'm gonna pause it a little bit until the result is finished. Now, it did take some time for it to finish. Now, we could see here, for example, the version number, in addition to the type of operating system. Here we have Linux 2.6.x, and here is the information about each service, the open port, and the version number. Now, you might be asking how I'm going to benefit this. So, I'm going to show you quickly. Like, for example, I'm going to move the screen here. If I type VSFTPD 2.3.4, press enter. I'm gonna, okay, so let me just close this one. Then I'm gonna move here. I'm gonna show you, for example, if you go to CVE organization, you type the VSFTPD, uh, the version number. Here, you'll be able to see what type of vulnerabilities are there related to this type of service. and then you can click right here, and then you can basically read the information about it and learn more about it. Now, next step, you'll be using vulnerability scanner like Nessus or some others to help you and provide you with very important vulnerabilities about the services that is currently open and running into the host machine. Uh, I hope you enjoyed this video and thank you so much for listening.